Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. And before I begin, I want to recognize my team in DOJ's Land Use and Conservation section and Environment section who worked on today's announcement, which I'm about to share. And I especially like to thank Nicole Rinke, Deputy Attorney General, Catherine Wyman, Deputy Attorney General, Christina Bull Arndt, Supervising Deputy Attorney General, Sarah Morrison, Supervising Deputy Attorney General, Daniel Olivas, Senior Assistant Attorney General, and Ed Ochoa, Senior Assistant Attorney General. These folks and their colleagues on my team, I'm proud to say, work day in and day out to protect our environment and the health and safety of our communities. And today, we are here to talk about both through the perspective of land use and development. When a family is searching for a home in a new community, they usually ask important questions, as they should. Does this house have the right number of bedrooms for their family? Is the neighborhood a place where they can rely on community public safety? Are there good schools nearby? Are there good parks nearby? But when house hunting and apartment searching, there are other questions that might not immediately get asked, but they are critical ones, like how likely is this home to burn up in flames tomorrow? Do fire, rescue, and emergency responders have easy access to my neighborhood? Will we be able to safely get out in time? The answers to these questions are important, but they're not always the ones we might want to hear. In recent years, we've seen homes, we've seen neighborhoods and communities, unfortunately, but literally wiped off the map. Lives destroyed, loved ones killed, heirlooms and memories burnt to rubble and ash. Names all too familiar to us now. Paradise, Grizzly Flats, Omo Ranch, and neighborhoods and communities not too far away from here gone in a flash, victim to the Cedar Fire, Witch Fire, Harris Fire, and beyond. In fact, 8 of the 10 largest wildfires in California history have occurred in the past 10 years. Since just 2005, wildfires have destroyed over 97,000 structures, requiring mass evacuations and exacerbating California's housing crisis. Our former governor, he said it best. He said, "This is the new normal." And today we are adding onto his words, this is the new normal, and when it comes to development, we can't continue business as usual. We must adjust, we must change. And that is why we are here today. We are issuing guidance with best practices for local governments, considering approval of development projects in fire-prone areas, including measures to mitigate fire risk, because wildfires are part of California's present, and as a result of climate change, increasingly part of California's future. The document we are presenting is a proactive tool for local governments, providing them with clear and consistent guidance to address wildfire ignition risk, evacuation, and emergency access at proposed developments. As local governments consider development projects, it is imperative that they carefully analyze and mitigate wildfire impacts as part of the environmental review process required by the California Environmental Quality Act, also, of course, commonly known as CEQA. CEQA requires that state and local agencies disclose and evaluate the significant environmental impacts of development in areas susceptible to hazardous conditions such as wildfire, and adopt all feasible mitigation measures to reduce or eliminate those impacts. This new guidance we are issuing today is based on our extensive experience reviewing, commenting on, and litigating planned development projects in wildfire-prone areas. The guidance puts forward best practices and mitigation measures for various topics, including project density. Project density influences how likely a fire is to start or to spread, and how likely it is that the development and its occupants will be in danger when a fire starts. Local governments should strive to increase housing density and consolidate project design, relying on higher density infill developments as much as possible. That is in the guidance. We're also looking at project location. Project placement in the landscape relative to fire history, topography, and wind patterns also influences wildfire risk. Local governments should limit development along steep slopes and amidst rugged terrain to decrease exposure to rapid fire spread and increase accessibility for fire fighting. Water supply and infrastructure is another area. As part of evaluating a project's wildfire risk impacts, local governments should analyze the adequacy of water supplies and infrastructure to fight fires. Local governments should consider requiring on-site water supply or storage to augment ordinary supplies that may be lost during a wildfire. We're looking at evacuation and emergency access. Evacuation modeling and analysis should be completed prior to the development's approval. Local governments should consider placing developments close to existing road and evacuation infrastructure, and where appropriate, construct additional roads to facilitate evacuations. And finally, we're looking at fire hardening structures in homes. Home hardening has been shown to be an extremely effective measure for preventing structural loss during a wildfire. Local governments should require developers to upgrade building materials and use installation techniques to increase the development's resistance to heat, to flames, and to embers. We can't prevent every wildfire disaster in the wildland-urban interface, but by following this guidance, local governments can ensure safer and healthier development that mitigates some of the worst wildfire risks. This guidance is the next step in our long fight to adapt to the climate crisis, and I encourage local governments to take it to heart, not only to prevent potential litigation from my office or others and save taxpayer dollars, but more importantly because this guidance has the potential to literally save lives. Since 2010, wildfires have killed nearly 150 people in California, and I fear this number can creep exponentially higher as the climate crisis worsens if we continue to develop our lands like it's business as usual. The climate crisis is here. We must adapt to that. And with this crisis comes increasingly frequent and severe wildfires that take lives, take homes, and entire communities. We must build in a way that recognizes this new normal. This guidance is intended to help our communities do just that. So thank you again to my team who led the development of this important blueprint, and thank you for being here. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.